102 Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:34. And Joe Walsh with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's going to be some kind of overcast today, some areas of dense fog this morning, so be careful on your ride to work today or your ride home. Whatever it may be, a high of 57. Tonight, you'll see periods of rain, low of 39, and for tomorrow, partly cloudy and windy with a high of 49. It's about 45 degrees right now in downtown Springfield. It's a Thunderbird Thursday. We're going to have tickets for tomorrow night's sold-out game against the Milwaukee Admirals at the Mass Mutual Center. Give you a 4-pack of tickets and a bunch of other great stuff along with it. Plus, we have tickets to the Western Mass Home and Garden Show coming up at the Big E. And there's other stuff today, too, but between all of that other stuff. And it all starts now on Rock 102.
Rock 102 is the expert of all things classic rock. Pool Construction are the experts of hospital, private, medical, and industrial facility construction. Together, as the Stream Team, we deliver Springfield's classic rock everywhere. The Rock 102 app, your smart speaker, and rock102.com.
Hey, Ben, I think I've got a new idea for my comedy show. I'll call it
Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:49 to the Rolling Stones with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It is going to be cloudy today with some rain showers later on this afternoon and a high of 50. Tomorrow, 55. Tomorrow, some snow perhaps in the morning and then rain in the afternoon. Oh, yeah, we just celebrated a 70-degree day yesterday. Why not follow that up with some snow in New England? It is 43 right now in downtown Springfield.
Hollywood Trash is brought to you by Western Mass Masons. Call Western Mass Masons for all your foundation and chimney needs.
Somehow you still care about what's happening in Hollywood. So from Tinseltown, 3,000 miles away, it's Steve Nagle's Hollywood Trash.
I feel really bad for Christina Applegate with the whole
it's awful.
MS thing. Her MS has been manifesting itself in a very inconvenient way. She says she's been hospitalized 30 times in 3 years for a combination of vomiting and diarrhea. On her messy podcast,
That's putting it mildly.
Yeah. With Jamie Lynn Sigler, she said, quote, talk to your doctor about motility issues, okay? Because one of the things with MS is that it slows down our organs. Not like completely, but there's a slowing of the function of your organs, and I've noticed that, and I'm going to be really honest. If I have to go, I go. Or she says when she has to, go number 2, she pukes. It's like that kind of hell that she's living through.
And if she has to puke, she poops herself.
Yep. When she has to do that, everything happens. Christina says her doctor has told her that this is, quote, not an MS thing, but she's convinced it is, especially since the whole conversation was started by a listener who messaged the podcast saying she was experiencing the exact same issues. And FYI, Jamie Lynn informed Christina that doing all that stuff at the same time is referred to as the double dragon when it comes out the both ends.
Jesus.
I mean, obviously this is a podcast to help people who are suffering through this thing. I don't know if that's something you want to listen to on your morning commute.
Well, yeah, maybe it's something on the way back home.
Yeah, after
weekends.
After weekends, times you're not going to eat, things like that.
maybe breakfast time, maybe not the best time to like a Bax and Nagle podcast. You can listen to that any time of day without experiencing any real waves of nausea.
Well, depends on what we were talking about. That's
Coombs. We were talking about Dave Coombs.
See, that'll make anybody roll over in their grave. J.K. Rowling's views on trans women have lost some of her fans and put her at odds with some of the stars of the Harry Potter movies. The big three themselves, Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint, have all come out to support the trans community since Rowling started voicing her opinions on social media, and she might not be over it. On Tuesday, someone asked her, quote, what actor or actress instantly ruins a movie for you? And she replied, 3 guesses. Sorry, that was irresistible.
Not for nothing.
Yeah.
I'm sure the three actors have their opinions and are more than entitled to them, but it's a whole lot easier to be more critical of the author after you've already made your 8 movies off her work.
Yeah, I don't know if she would have said this before the first Harry Potter movie came out.
Perhaps. Well, she may have had her stance on trans people, but I don't think these 3 would have been so vocal after the second or third movie
Right.
when there's so much more work to be done.
Well, she's got a lot of money that she can just fall back on a pillow. She stuffs her pillow. That's her pillow. She's selling her pillows now.
Yeah, this is part of the Horcrux.
Let's see. We all have our guilty pleasure songs from the 80s. Do you have one?
I'm sure I do.
Is yours one in the 20 on this list from ultimateclassicrock.com that they came up with?
What's on the list?
Africa by Toto.
Not one of them.
We Built This City by Starship.
Hell no.
Jesse's Girl by Rick Springfield.
Nope.
Girls, Girls, Girls by not only Charlotte Rae, but Motley Crue as well.
No.
Mickey, Tony Basil.
No.
Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley.
No.
Living on a Prayer.
No.
Dancing in the Streets.
No.
The Mick Jagger, David Bowie version.
Absolutely not.
Mr. Roboto.
No.
Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. That's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no.
The Final Countdown. Physical.
Nope.
Studio.
Hell no.
Party All the Time.
Nope.
You Make My Dreams.
Nope.
Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Nope.
Down Under.
Well, I like Men at Work.
You do?
Kind of do.
You like that song, Down Under?
Not my favorite of theirs, but sure.
Do you like Vegemite sandwiches?
I don't know. Actually, I don't like Vegemite at all.
How about Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car? Now that's the one that
that's a
that
good
hits the cockles of my heart.
I bet it
right
does.
There, yeah. And Kokomo
No.
and Sunglasses at Night.
No Safety Dance?
That's what I right off the bat, I'd say the Safety Dance.
No.
Or Mexican Radio or Turning Japanese or any of those.
What about Flock of Seagulls? They had a few worth listening to.
Well, apparently there's only one seagull and it's dead in the ocean.
That's what I say to that list.
Yeah, I don't know how they come up with some of these stupid things.
I bet I could come up with a better list.
I bet. Well, you're the music. You have a musical fun bag over there.
My bag is full.
SNL announced country music is unfortunately taking over pop culture.
And it's
not even good country music.
And it's to the detriment of all of us.
SNL has announced Morgan Wallen as next week's musical guest, and fans may think it's because his new album might be dropping soon too.
No kidding. That's why they get all those musical guests.
Can't wait for that. And here's another one. The Grand Ole Opry turns 100 years old later this year. And to celebrate, NBC aired a huge concert last night called the Opry 100 Live Celebration. You had stars like Alan Jackson, Lainey Wilson, Carrie Underwood, Garth Brooks, Luke Combs. All of them took the stage.
I guess I'm more like a hee-haw country guy. I like the old country.
You like the old? Oh yeah.
I prefer the old country as opposed to the new country.
Like old, like 50s, 40s, 50s.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Hank Williams.
Back when it was country, western, cowboy music.
When it was real country. There was
as opposed to now like easy listening soft rock music with a twang.
Yeah. Oh, and here's another one. If you're not a basketball fan but still want to fill out a bracket, may we suggest participating in 2025's March Madness? It's a fight to see who the hottest man in country music is, and there are two brackets to choose from, old school and new school.
Yeah, okay.
What a bunch of garbage that these people put out. Chewing tobacco, spit beer. What else can we do? Bang in the back of my truck.
Whatever happened in the old days where we just sang about getting drunk and breaking hearts?
Yeah, but at least they had a little more creativity to the lyrics.
Yes.
Now it's just like they're just making puns just to make puns, and it doesn't even, I don't know.
You want to do yourself a favor sometime? Really learn about country music? Grab some YouTube videos and watch Roy Clark play guitar.
That's right, Roy Clark.
Holy smokes.
There was a guy in Hamden, a cop in Hamden, that used to play for Roy Clark.
Really?
He used to play bass in the Roy Clark band.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
That guy used to shred like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
Glenn Campbell, too.
And then I said to him, I'm like, oh, yeah, I love that song because. And he's like, not Dave Clark. I was like, yeah, glad all over. Dave Clark. You played in that band?
Wrong guy.
Anyway, Kim Kardashian was spotted near her home in California Monday night wearing a fur vest and leather pants while out getting ice cream, which, of course, led to brain freeze and a little melted ice cream on her face.
She must have had something to say.
Oh, my God, the last time I gave a brain and had something dripping off my chin was when Ray J took target practice on my epiglottis with his knob zombie and that sex tape you can purchase on YouPorn for $39.95. When did you ever think epiglottis would make an appearance in the Kim Kardashian?
I don't know. I wonder what Knob Zombie has to say about it. Caitlin?
Well, I never got that down and dirty with your mother, Chris Kim, but we once ordered the number 69 from our favorite eating out place. That's the Chow Sum Pie and Chow Sum Dong combo. You ever have the Chow Sum Pie and Chow Sum Dong combo?
No, I haven't. I have not.
A little bit of leakage in between the two separations on the plate. What
are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is that I had the fish, your mother had the meat, and all the while we gazed at the bronze oyster. You know, Bax, it reminds me of that old saying. That old saying. You don't want to see how the sausage is made.
Probably for the best.
Yeah, probably not. And that's your Hollywood.
Hate to see the fortune cookie.
Yeah, you don't even want to know what that says. And that's your Hollywood trash on Rock 102.
And then
AA college basketball tournament. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're saying, Baxie, I know you filled out your brackets. Who'd you pick for the Final Four of the women's tournament? Well, that's a very good question. And well, I cannot imagine a situation where both my apathy and misogynistic predispositions would preclude me from submitting those brackets and sharing them with you today. I believe there are just some things that a gentleman should never talk about. And among those things are my pick for the women's Final Four. On the men's side, however, here's who I have in the opening round. Alabama State, Louisville, San Diego, Texas A&M, North Carolina, Lipscomb, New Mexico, Bryant, Norfolk State, Oklahoma, Colorado State, Grand Canyon, Drake, Wellington, Kansas, Omaha, Mount St. Mary's, Mississippi State, Liberty, Akron, VCU, Montana, St. Mary's, Robert Morris, Edwardsville, Georgia, McNeese, High Point, Xavier, Troy, Utah State, and Wolford are all getting bounced out of the opening round over the next 2 days. Instead, I have Tennessee, UCLA, Kentucky, Illinois, Purdue, Clemson, Gonzaga, Houston, Alabama, Vanderbilt, Wisconsin, BYU, Arizona, Oregon, Baylor, Duke, St. John's, Arkansas, Texas Tech, Missouri, Maryland, Memphis, UConn, Florida, MSU, Marquette, Iowa State, Ole Miss, Yale, Michigan, Creighton, and Auburn, all advancing into the second round. Now, I ask you, do I sound like the kind of guy who has the time, the patience, and the available headspace to take on a second set of NCAA brackets? Do I seem like the kind of fella who has enough time in the day to make my picks using my keen insights and natural ability to have filled out another set of brackets for the women just to make them happy? Let me answer that question for you. The answer is no, I do not. Is that me being sexist? No. It's being frugal with my time so that I can go home and do the things that make the actual women in my life happy. And I can assure you that filling out another set of brackets in a timely fashion is not one of those things. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. So you doing some painting? You might need a can of Kill Sealer and Stain Blocker. It's on sale right now at Rocky's. Learn the pro tricks that elevate your painting project. Talk to the experienced paint professionals at every Rocky's Ace Hardware location. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock at 6:13. And Aerosmith with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It's going to be cloudy today with a high of 55. Tomorrow, I could see a mix of rain and snow with a high of 50. It's 43 right now in downtown Springfield.
Thunderbird Thursday today. Your chance to win tickets to the sold-out game on Friday, tomorrow night, against the Milwaukee Admirals. That's going to be coming up later on this morning. And another chance of winning some tickets to the Western Mass Home and Garden Show at the Big E.
All right.
Okay.
Sweet. Yeah.
All right.
I'm always about a Thunderbird Thursday.
Yeah. Well, today is Thursday, and today is the day.
Well, those games are sold out.
Dude, I don't know what is going on here. You know, I know Pat has your pets in here every week.
Yeah.
They bring the dogs in here from TJO or Dakin, one of the two. I think it's TJO. This room smells like dog piss.
It's absolutely disgusting, and I didn't notice it quite at first when you said it to me when I walked in, But then when I went into the other room here to kind of do some editing,
Yeah.
it's like coming through the vents.
Dude, it's
because the
overwhelming.
vent is on in there. And it basically sucks air from this room and it blows down upon where my office chair sits.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my God, it's disgusting in here." And no Glade air freshener in the world is going to cover up the smell of that.
I walked in here this morning and I was overwhelmed by it. It was like a punch right in the face. Like someone balled up their fist and punched me right in the suck with it.
Yeah.
So I grabbed the Glade, right?
Yeah.
And I tried spraying it all over the room.
And that's all I smelled when I came in here.
And the first thing I said to you is,
Yeah.
does this room smell awful or is it just me?
Does it smell like urine in here? Yeah, it does.
Now, here's what I don't know.
What?
I'm assuming it's the dog. It could have been Pat.
Well, it could have been Pat, too. I mean, how many swing oil beers does it take a leprechaun to pee?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
You got to believe,
Yeah.
even though it may be distended in some way,
Yeah.
it's a still reasonably small bladder.
But yeah, it's always been the pets. Every Wednesday, he has the pets in here, which is fine. I'm not. That's a great organization. That's a great thing that he does to get these pets adopted and whatnot. But for God's sakes, man, put down some paper.
You gotta do something, and
It's carpeted in here. It's not something to easily clean up. And even if you had some carpet cleaner.
we don't have any carpet shampooing devices in this building, and I'm pretty sure that if we had filled out a requisition form to afford one, the company would say no way. You're on your own. We'd much rather replace all the carpeting than buy a machine that could fix the carpeting you have.
Yeah.
So there's no fixing this. It's got to dissipate on its own. I opened up the window. I sprayed more Glade. I said maybe you should start a pot of coffee just to mask the stink.
See, this would have been a time to have Zero Rays in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been perfect.
Yeah, have these guys come down here and clean up after Pat's pets because Pat clearly can't clean up after them.
Now, most of the time, whenever there's an accident in the studio, and you got to believe it happens because it's a dog and you can't blame the dog, we have someone on staff that will pick it up.
Hazel.
Yeah.
And Hazel wasn't here yesterday. And I don't think Hazel was here yesterday to help clean up.
I'll be happy to pick up the droppings, Mr. Baxter. That's my Shirley Booth.
Oh, is that what it is?
Anyway, Hazel wasn't here yesterday, so there's stuff in the carpets. It's in the walls. I feel like a crazy cat lady is living in the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty gross in here.
This is no way to celebrate an anniversary.
Usually, it's just the BO from us when we leave the studio. We get used to it too.
Yeah, and that's fine.
What do they call that when you get used to your own smell? Isn't there a term for that?
I don't know if there may be a term. I'm not aware of it, but I know what you're talking about. It's like you don't even a skunk never smells its own scent.
Right.
Yeah. Same thing. Exactly what you said. It just but here we're by 9 o'clock we won't even notice it. But like right now, it's pungent.
I want to see. Let me see if we can. I don't know because there might. Usually, there's a picture of the pet that did this, and there is no pet. Probably because that person wasn't here to put the picture of the pet up.
Right.
But usually, I want to see how cute the animal was that left the mess in here.
I'm sure I'm sure whatever pet was in here was absolutely adorable. Again, I don't blame the pet. I don't blame the people that brought the pet. I blame the guy that didn't pick up after the pet left. I'm blaming Pat on this one.
I'm blaming Pat on this one too.
This is
he's in charge. When he's left to his own devices, he is a supervisor here.
Actually, that's the only thing he's in charge of.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
he should be walking around with some carpet cleaner and a scrub brush and things to soak up the urine.
And he's perfect for that because he's the closest to the ground.
Yes, he's a very little guy. He's a little guy. He's like our own little leprechaun.
Yeah,
here.
just has to bend over at the waist and start dabbing things off with paper towels.
By the way, speaking of smells, I'm in Costco yesterday afternoon. Somebody crop dusted, and to which my daughter even said, "Oh, it smells like New York City in here, like the subway. You know when you walk down into a subway?
Oh yeah."
Not the sandwich shop, although I've smelled a few
of that there too.
But when you walk down to the subway, I'm like, yes, it does. It smells like a dirty, dirty subway in here. It's disgusting, and I don't know who did it, There was like several people up above, up ahead of us.
Which is weird because Costco's usually such like a wide open space. It's an enormous warehouse of stuff.
Yeah, but you know what? It was in that section where the paper towels and the bath tissue is.
Oh yeah,
and it was full. Like so there was no open air. It was kind of like you were just walking down a gauntlet full of gas. It was disgusting.
Isn't that brutal?
I know it's brutal. I know people can't help it sometimes, but good God, man, what the hell did you eat?
There's just some things in the area that just flat out stink, and it's not just Bondi's Island. That's that's everyone's go-to as far as stinks in this area. But there are other areas of Western Mass that are just overwhelmingly stinky.
Yeah, let's see. Down by that old York Street jail area, because of the Bondi's Island waft.
There is that.
Where else smells around here?
I was once in a public restroom at the Holyoke Mall, which was a little bit overwhelming once.
Mornings 5 to 10 over at the Basketball Hall of Fame. That stinks. There's a lot of horrible smells in this city.
Ain't that the truth? It'll knock you right over.
Yeah. Anyway,
today Rock 102 studio.
Yeah, I know.
He's added to the list.
It's just gross, and it's kind of overwhelming. Actually, it's getting. I'm not even getting used to it, and I think you were right. I think we're gonna have to start a pot of coffee here to.
We got to do something because and that's the only thing that so far has been able to overwhelm all the other smells.
I forgot the half and half.
Oh my God!
I bought some yesterday, only $2.29 over at Costco.
And you forgot it?
I forgot. I bought two. I bought one for myself at home and one for there, and I poured the one for myself already. And then I was like, I'm going to grab that on the way out, and I forgot all about it.
I got to start contributing to the coffee making stuff. We got all the supplies here right now. But
well, we have everything
down low.
We have everything but the half and half.
All right, and we'll grab some mini moos upstairs. I know it's gross, but I mean,
anything that's in a little cup that doesn't need to be refrigerated and has been there for over 2 years that has no expiration date on it might be a little synthetic.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure it's.
I don't believe there's any dairy in a mini moo.
No. Well, there might be.
I believe it's water and paste.
I think a cow stared at it and said, "That ain't gonna. And nobody's gonna believe that for a second.
That ain't coming from me."
That's right.
It's just about 6:23 in Rock 102.
Hey, good news!
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock at 6:27 with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
Dan Brown will have the full forecast for you.
Hey, this week on Baxi's musical podcast, my guest has been Lamal from the band Kajagoogoo, the former lead singer of that band. Remember, Too Shy also sang the theme song to the film Never Ending Story. He's got a new single that's coming out next week. My guest on Monday is Keith Roth, the current lead singer of the band The Dictators. Also spent 18 years singing with the late and playing guitar with the late David Johansen. Also once auditioned for the Ramones. Really interesting interviews. The guy's hosted a couple national radio shows, has a podcast, the Rock Strap podcast, which is actually really cool. That's happening on Monday on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, the Rock 102 YouTube channel, rock102.com, and on the app. Brought to you by Metro Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram at Chicopee, and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
Happy anniversary, by the way.
Well, thank you.
30 years? Man, that's a long time ago.
I know. I got a gift box of snacks from the company. And they sent, it was a gift box full of
snacks,
full of delicious sugary snacks, and the card said, "Thank you for 30 years. Cheers to the next 30." Signed the boss and all at Saga Corporate.
You've worked here 30 years.
Yeah,
and they got you a box of snacks.
Would you have expected more?
A watch? Something, a watch. At least a piece of jewelry.
How long have you known me? What the hell would I do with a watch?
How about That's kind of where I was going with that, but some sort of jewelry, some sort of plaque, some sort of hello, congratulations on 30 years of surviving this godforsaken business. And they what? Here's your thanks for making us millions of dollars over there. Here's your Fanny Farmer pack.
It's a little bit nicer than a Fanny Farmer.
Yeah.
It's very, very nice. But 30 more years puts me at 89 years old.
Here's some chocolate-covered peanuts. Not only will you eat them today, but you'll see them tomorrow. It's like a double whammy in your mouth.
You may pass those 30 years from now.
That's what I'm saying.
There you go.
All right, you ready to laugh?
I'm ready to laugh.
All right.
It's Bax and Nagle's Joke of the Day
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you.
on Rock 102,
I make you laugh.
Springfield's classic rock.
I called my favorite 1-900 phone sex operator yesterday.
You did.
We're doing 1-900 jokes because, we're talking about 30 years ago. Things that were still relevant. But anyway, I called her, right?
Yes.
And but she was on vacation, and her voicemail said, "I'm sorry, but you can't come to the phone right now." You see? Because she's not there.
She's not there.
You're not going to be able to come to the phone.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow, man. 30 years of this. Can you imagine 30 years of listening to horrible jokes like this?
Believe me, I can believe it.
All right.
Bax and Nagle in the morning on Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
Here's your Western Mass News.
Just about 6:34 with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by the original Western Mass Home and Garden Show at the Eastern States Exposition, March 27th through the 31st. Check out the show at westernmasshomeshow.com. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Max. Let's start off with some good news for once.
All right.
A viral story that started in Springfield has come to a swift conclusion. The Western New England University comfort dog Bear will retire and remain with his handler after a student Senate vote on Wednesday.
Very good.
Yeah, since arriving on campus in July of 2022, the university says Bear has responded to over 1,600 calls with public safety. Bear's story went viral when his handler, Officer Alexandria Capin-Parizo, I think I said that right. I think we butchered it twice the other day while they were in here, right?
Think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. We definitely butchered it.
Well, I'm sorry if I did again. I can't listen. If I don't, I'm not. I don't have the flow the words thing come out of my mouth.
No, I understand that, Steve. We all have our deficiencies, but I'm just happy that this thing resolved itself. How often do you hear, someone who's in the throes of a viral controversy take this arrogant stance where they're not going to move? Yeah. For example, can you imagine if, for example, this dog were owned by the city of East Hampton, Massachusetts?
Oh God, they would have done. They would have never have gotten the dog. They would have chose 4 other dogs for these folks to take home with them.
Right. They wouldn't have resolved anything until telling the dog he's not going to their trainer at like 11:30 at night.
Hey, we're just doing a well-being check on you. You okay over there?
You haven't answered the dog whistle.
Anyway, there were questions, because this officer was departing. There were questions of over whether Officer Alley would be able to keep Bear, which had previously been discussed. The university decided to put it to a vote to the student senate. And a statement to Western Mass News from Western New England reads, in part, after careful consideration and a Democratic vote, the students have recommended to the university leadership that Bear should retire and remain with his handler. The decision acknowledges the strong bond Bear has formed with his handler and ensures that he transitions to a home where he is loved and cared for. End of story. That's it. That's all they got. And you know what? I give the college a lot of credit for at least listening to people and having the Democratic vote to say you decide what's going on, and them actually listening to the students, as opposed to how many times have you heard these things drag out for months, whether it be for a dog or be for a policy that somebody put in nobody listens.
I give them credit. They realized that they may have made an error in this decision, and they allowed the student senate to vote on it. Most times, a university wouldn't dream of doing that, and they would take an arrogant, staunch, unmovable stance. And I applaud them for making the choice.
Yeah,
good for them.
And you know what? Kudos to the folks that were in here the other day, because they weren't doing this, as in a screaming type fashion. They were doing it in a compassionate way, and they took the video down because it doesn't need to keep being reposted and all that other stuff.
Well, that's the other point. They didn't do this for the idea of putting a viral video up online. They did this for the dog, and now that the thing has been resolved,
There you go.
Video's down. Good for them. They did it the right way.
A multi-agency operation on Wednesday resulted in the seizure of 4 illegal firearms, a large quantity of narcotics, and the arrest of 8 individuals, including a repeat firearm offender with 2 open gun cases. According to Springfield Police spokesman Ryan Walsh, the Springfield Police FIU...
Hey. Enough with the language.
Hey, FIU 2. Along with multiple state agencies, carried out the operations, which targeted illegal firearm possession and drug distribution at an apartment on Pasadena Street. Investigators had been tracking 21-year-old Jaheim Sutherland of Springfield, who was allegedly wearing an electronic ankle monitor at the time of his arrest, but had to remove it. Sutherland, who has 43 adult arraignments, 25 of which firearm-related, also has 2 active arrest warrants. While conducting surveillance, officers observed 36-year-old Nathan Dolan enter and leave the residence in was allegedly a drug transaction. Dolan was stopped on Kensington Avenue, where officers found more than 4 grams of crack cocaine, leading to his arrest. Shortly after, officers saw Sutherland leave the residence and enter a car. When the vehicle stopped on Central Street, officers moved in to arrest him, but Sutherland attempted to take off on foot. During the chase, he was seen discarding a loaded semi-automatic firearm, which officers later recovered. A Mass State trooper sustained a head injury during the chase, requiring stitches. Despite his efforts to escape, Sutherland was caught and arrested. Following Sutherland's arrest, officers executed a search warrant at the Pasadena Street apartment, where they found a whole list of prizes. 4 illegal firearms, including a ghost gun and a large-capacity firearm, 3 firearm magazines, more than 23 grams of crack cocaine, over 200 bags of heroin, and additional ammunition, all to be won here on The Price is Right.
I'll take a plea of 25 years in prison. Possibility of parole after 15 with time served.
That's all right. We'll take you in, and you'll be back on the street tomorrow.
You know what would make me happy? You know how there have been some things that we've said on the show over the last number of years, which you find out or like the maestro, for example.
Yeah.
Guy's been serving on the bench for years. People refer to him, to his face, as the maestro. It happens all the time. Wouldn't it be great if you found out these drug busts going all over Springfield?
Yeah.
Open the door, it's the FIU. And you hear the guy inside going, whoa, what's with the language? That would make me so happy.
I'm sure there's somebody out there that's done that.
That would be
has repeated something we've said.
I would find that to be very gratifying.
Or when Captain Trent Duda is like the leader of the sergeant or he's like the captain, the lead guy on an investigation. It's Captain Trent Duda from the Springfield Police. Someone's going to jail today. Duda. And then Duda's in there like...
Gotta be held all night. Gotta be in prison all day.
Yeah. He's doing that thing from that morning show that I listen to.
Yeah. But the FIU line, that's one of our new ones now. I would love to see that kind of enter into the regular jargon of street toughs in town.
I don't know if they're listening to us.
They listen.
You think so?
Yeah, sure. Why not? You telling me they don't like open lines? Half of those people calling her high anyway.
Yeah. Actually, I think I've heard an ankle monitor beeping in the background when Vince the plumber calls.
Beep. I think that's just his pager.
Oh. A Cambridge woman has been sentenced to prison in connection with operating an interstate network of high-end brothels in Massachusetts and Virginia.
Hey, now.
42-year-old Han Lee. Oh, she had her Han job that she was doing.
I prefer the Han Lo.
Yeah. Han, what's your job? I hook people up with sexual favors for money. Was arrested and charged in November of 2023 alongside 2 co-defendants. Charging documents state that Lee was the manager of multiple brothels in Cambridge and Watertown and Fairfax and Tysons, Virginia. Cambridge and Watertown, Mass. And this
is the troubling part. Nobody out there thinks of Western Mass. You telling me we couldn't make a go of a brothel out here in the Springfield area?
Well, we've had several of them. You see them anytime one of those places gets closed up, and you hear about human trafficking and all this other stuff.
Yeah, but that's usually under the money laundering guise of a 24-hour massage parlor. I'm talking about an actual brothel where it's like a It's like, say, like one of them, big, those big Victorian homes.
Yeah.
Like up on the hill, overlooking the city where there's like 45 different rooms and one toilet.
Listen, if here's some tips that might be that your massage parlor might be like not really on the up and up. You get we advertise several day spas and things like that.
Sure.
They have like normal business hours, like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Or even for the early birds, they might open at 7 o'clock and then they might close at 7 o'clock.
Maybe even have Saturday hours.
But with appointments, when you see walk-ins welcome and they're open till 11 o'clock at night
or later,
that might mean there's something else going on there. I don't know.
Steve,
I don't know too many respectable LMTs out there that are working. I'm just sitting around waiting for business to just walk right in the door here at 9 o'clock at night.
I don't have any personal experience with the everyday Springfield area rub and tug, but I got to believe that there are some places that have off hours and do run legitimate businesses, that they're all not involved in human trafficking. I mean, there's plenty that are, but they're not all. I mean, you're telling me there's a guy working like a second shift, comes out of work, that shoulders are killing him, his back is all knotted up. Where's he gonna go? Have to wait like in the morning to get a good rub down? He needs work now.
I need a massage, and I need it right now.
Right.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be, I still like the Han job, though. I've been working here all day long. This is the hardest Han job I've ever had.
The Handy Man.
Yeah. The Handy Man. The Handy Man can, because she mixes it with love and makes the world feel good. Cloudy today with a high of 55. Could see a rain shower or two this afternoon. Tomorrow, a mix of snow and rain after we just had a 70-degree day yesterday. It is 44 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
G2, Springfield's Classic Rock at 6:50, and Nirvana with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Whatever. It's something in downtown Springfield. The really important part is here. I just want to say, happy 30th anniversary. Bax.
Thanks.
Bax has been on the air here for 30 years, and I've come up with a little bit of something here
to
commemorate this day.
Okay.
So if you could play some music for me, please, Maestro. There you go.
Okay.
All right.
I'm ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, devoted listeners, the fine folks over at Plimpton and Hills, and of course, that one guy who still thinks Bax and I stormed the Capitol just to leave a big patriotic Duke on Nancy Pelosi's desk. Yeah, it was definitely Pumpkinhead. We're gathered here this morning to celebrate a truly momentous occasion. A milestone so impressive, so rare, so utterly inexplicable that it defies all logic and reason. That's right. Bax has been on the air at Rock 102 for 30 years. 30 years! That's longer than most careers, longer than most marriages, and significantly longer than anyone predicted once they heard Bax attempt to read a clock.
Including myself.
Honestly, if you had told me back in 1995, when I was a junior in high school, that he'd still be doing this today, I would have said, wow, even with that view from the couch thing that nobody understands what he says at the end of it? What is that thing you say at the end of the view from the couch?
I'm Bax, and that's my view from the couch.
And yet, here we are celebrating 3 decades of Bax's radio career. And along the way, he even got inducted into the Massachusetts Broadcasters Hall of Fame, a title that sounds impressive on paper, but really is just one step above a bagged lunch at a Marriott on Route 3 out in the eastern part of the state. It's hardly the highlight of the morning. It's the fact that he's been around this long, even if he still struggles with telling the time, that truly deserves our attention. But that aside, I must ask an important, pressing, deeply philosophical question. Why have we not made this about me yet? Because let's be honest, we could talk about Bax's career all day long, but that would mean ignoring the real turning point in radio history. The day Bax made the single greatest decision of his life. The decision that changed everything. The day he hired me, Steve Nagle. That was the day this show started evolving. The day morning radio went from background noise to absolute must-listen entertainment. Before I came along, this show was just Bax and a curmudgeon who made mornings feel like you were waiting 45 minutes for a fisherman-jig at Friendly's, and even when it was served, it was still ice cold in the middle. Then I arrived, and suddenly, boom! There was life! There was humor! There was a co-host who actually knows what time it is! Because let's be real, before me, every morning is a gamble. Bax telling you the time was like rolling the dice. Listeners would hear him say, it's 7:45, and then they'd start panicking. Did I oversleep? Am I in the wrong time zone? Did daylight savings begin early? What year is it? And that's part of the fun. Bax brings a level of suspense to mornings that few can match. But I bring something even greater. I bring charisma. I bring undeniable, world-altering talent. I bring strikingly good looks. When people turn on the radio and hear me, they don't just hear a co-host. They hear hope. They hear brilliance. They hear a man who single-handedly took this show from something you listen to while you're hijacking the beanstalk to a cultural institution. Now, I'm not saying Bax wouldn't still be here without me. That would be unfair. I mean, I'm sure he'd probably still be here, but doing what exactly? Presenting the mass hat? Presenting sound clips for Now Hear This? Because if you think about it, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it kicks you in the nuts. The Bax of life. That's not a career, that's just gaslighting an entire region full of people. But in all seriousness, credit where credit is due, 30 years of showing up, even if you don't always know what time it is an achievement. So today, I graciously allow this moment to be about him a little. But let's not forget, while we celebrate Bax's legacy, we're also witnessing the rise of another. Mine, Steve Nagle. So Bax, congratulations on 30 years. You've done something truly amazing, and while I could say this show wouldn't be the same without you, we all know who the real talent here is in the room. So let's raise a glass.
Yes, raise it.
To Steve Nagle. And I guess Bax, too.
Oh,
congratulations.
Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. Thank you. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
That's got to get a tear in my eye and a lump in my throat.
Yeah, well, if you're into this kind of thing, I got a buddy. Thank you.
It's almost 6:57 on Rock 102.
Call or text us any. And now, Bax's View from the Couch. Brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint, Cabot Stains, plus rock-solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, allow me to peel myself away from March Madness for just a moment so I can shed some light on a little bit of NBA history making from last night. As you know, 2 days ago, actor-comedian Tracy Morgan was forced to leave Madison Square Garden after puking all over the floor from his courtside seats during the Knicks' 116-95-point win over the Miami Heat. Last night, it was the Knicks' turn to puke all over the floor after losing to the San Antonio Spurs, who I should point out have the third worst record in the Western Conference. The final score, Spurs 120, New York Knicks 105. So why was this game so historically significant? Well, perhaps it may have had something to do with the sudden burst of offensive production from Spurs forward Sandro Mamukelashvili, who scored 34 points last night in the game. Now, you might say, Baxy, 34 points, big whoop. Jason Tatum does that practically every other night for the Celtics. And that's a fair point. But there are many players who throughout the NBA can throw down 34 points in a game. The difference here is that Sandro did it in just 19 minutes, thereby making the most points scored in less than 20 minutes since 1951 when the league started to track that kind of stuff. That's impressive stuff from a guy who typically averages 5 points a game in just 8.9 minutes of average playing time. After the game was over, Sandro was quoted as saying, quote, "I don't know what effing happened. I don't know what effing happened." Ironically enough, that was the same thing the New York Knicks said when they were getting smoked by a guy who barely ever scores because he barely ever plays. What's even more ironic, this was also the very same quote that Tracy Morgan was heard saying after blowing chow from his courtside seats from food poisoning. Now, unless Tracy Morgan and the Knicks are eating at the same places, there's no reason they should have lost that game, despite the towering juggernaut of Sandro Mamukelashvili and his sudden 19-minute-long basketball clinic. And yet, he's the guy making history, while the New York Knicks do not. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. You know, you got to get your Scott's four-step now at Rocky's. $95 with your Ace Rewards card, plus spend $150 on Scott's products. Get a $25 bonus reward. Planning ahead for your lush summer lawn. Get everything now and get a hell of a deal at your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock at 7:10, and the Rolling Stones of Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Cloudy today with a high of 55. It is 43 right now in downtown Springfield. 30 years of Mike Baxendale's career here at Rock 102.
This is a kind of unexpected surprise on the phone. It's a very special guest, the mayor of this fine city, Mr. Dominic J. Sarno. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, that's right.
Ooh.
Mayor Dom is in the house.
A dignitary and a dingleberry.
Yeah, you're. I've heard worse, believe me.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
But I wanted to congratulate you, Bax. The wide world of sports are laughs, thrill of victory and agony, defeat sometimes at Open Line Friday there. But 30 years of making us laugh and making us laugh at ourselves, and that is so sorely needed. And I know Steve Nagle has gotten you Barry Krieger's famous egg salad birthday cake for you, too. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, it's going to be...
Hey, I'll take it. That's some fine egg salad.
Well, 30 years and lasting in radio is quite a testament to you and your talent, and you guys make a great combination. And again, I thank you for making me laugh every morning and also making me laugh at myself every morning. Because that's important. We can't take ourselves very seriously, and I'm glad you're feeling well too.
Thank you.
Back.
I hope you're feeling well too.
As James Brown would sing, I feel good.
There you go. You are the only guy I know that can kill two stones with one bird.
Listen, you guys have a great day. Congratulations. I got to go down to the salt mine, City Hall. Okay.
All right.
There
Thank you.
go.
Thank you, sir.
Congrats.
I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Take care. Bye now.
Mayor Dominic Sarno.
How about that?
That's awesome.
Yeah, see?
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that a lot.
And you were yesterday. You were like, I don't need anything. I don't need anybody. And we got to make time because Dave Coombs is calling in about 5 minutes.
The hell he is.
Yeah, I'm saying.
The hell he is.
You never know.
Really?
This is your life.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. He's
Thank
not,
goodness.
He's not calling. He's too busy doing a Wisconsin hat out there.
Well, good for that.
But congratulations. I mean, it really is. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't make, especially in this career, in this business. People might have been in the business for as long as you have, but never 30 years in one place.
Listen. I am not. Believe it or not, I am not necessarily the kind of person that will toot my own horn.
But you can toot it.
I may you rub it gently, but I won't necessarily toot it. Anyway, my point is this: years ago, I was at a conference in New York, and someone couldn't believe that we had been working here.
Was that the MAGA rally you go to every year?
Yeah,
Sean Hannity.
Someone couldn't believe that we had been working here for 11 years, and I'm like, yeah, I know, boy, we've buffaloed those people for more than a decade. And here it is after 30 years, and I'm talking, if you had asked me in 1995 how long I thought this little partnership would last, I say I give it 6 months, and that's it. And now I got another 2,369 days left to go.
This is my 20th year that I've been here, And listen, you don't expect to last this long in this business.
No.
There's always this, because you've seen it happen time and time again to people people who have been, more successful, I think, than either one of us, get cut. And that's just the way this business goes. And like, you don't know, like tomorrow, we're a pretty viable company, but you never know when this place could fold up like a cheap suit and then we'd be out on the street.
Oh, sure.
You know
That could happen by the end of this hour if we play our cards right.
Well, you want to take them gamble? Huh? But, it's something you should be proud of that.
Listen, I am proud of it, but before we get too far ahead of propping me up, I need to give credit where credit is due. Mm-hmm. I work with a lot of really outstanding people. I've worked with a lot of very outstanding listeners. There's been a lot of support from advertisers and friends and family and management, but coworkers and everything else. And to me, is as grateful as I am, this isn't really just about me. A lot of things had to happen in a perfect storm to allow me the honor of being on this show.
I know.
In Springfield, yes. Yeah. The honor of working with you for all these years.
Yeah, right.
And to me, that's the thing that I'm the most proud of. I mean, any trained monkey can do what I do. It's not really all that complicated. I press a button here and there. I tell the time correct about 75% of the time, and all of a sudden I'm in the Hall of Fame. But it would mean nothing and would have gone nowhere had it not been of the support and friendship of all those people.
But I also don't think, yes, yeah. I mean, every one of us has people who have, you wouldn't be here without people who've helped you along the way to get you to another level. But the idea that the thing that's always impressed me about you is your discipline every single morning to come in here and not write one, but two of those View from the Couches. And yeah, I mean, most of them suck, but for the most part, but you put effort into it,
yeah.
and you do it every single day. That says a lot about how much time you put into this job and how much dedication that you put into it. Me, I'm just rolling in here right after the show starts, going, "Hey, where's the coffee? How come the coffee isn't made?"
Well, and listen, there's something to be said about that kind of dedication too.
Yeah. Well, listen. When you're as great as I am, you can walk in here whatever time you want.
Steve, there is no question about it that every day when you roll in here at
5:30,
5:51 or whatever it may be.
Usually before the 10 of the hour.
I find myself looking at the security cameras every single day.
Yeah.
And when I see your car driving up, I think, oh, thank God.
But you know what? I'll be here. There's never a worry.
No, there's never a worry. But in all fairness, I say, oh, thank God, every single day.
It's dedication.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, it is that. But listen, today is just one day. I got a long, knock on wood, a long time to go. Still a couple of years left in me.
How many?
I'll be
days?
65 in 6 years.
Wow. How many days is that again?
2,369 days. With any luck, I will maybe someday hand this whole empire off to you, and you can bury it into the ground with God knows what you have planned with it.
If we're still here.
Of course, Steve. It's always contingent on something.
I don't think I know one person in this business that has left on their own accord. I really don't. I don't think I've. Who can you name off the top of your head that left this business? I'm not just talking about this company. I'm talking about in general. Name one person that did I'm retiring today and thanks for all that. How many? There's more of the people that have gotten let go out the door before they left.
Well, that is true. I could name a couple names.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want me to name a couple names? Or do we need to make it all about them today?
Well, we can name a couple of names.
Gary Zenobia, former general manager, retired on his own.
No, I'm talking about an on-air personality.
On air?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, that never happens.
That's what I'm saying.
Actually, that's not true. My first morning show partner, and you got to go back years ago, he retired on his own. He was not forced out the door, and he was working for this company.
Name 5.
Him, the other guy.
Yeah.
There's one guy who died.
And I don't know what the difference is between, like, television anchors versus us. Like Barry Krieger and Dave Madsen.
Well,
Dave
Barry
Madsen doesn't know how to retire.
That is the worst retirement plan I've ever heard in my life. And I've told it right to his face. I said, Dave, you retired 5 years ago, and you're still walking in here like 3 times a week. Yeah. This is the worst plan I've ever heard in my life. And he's like, yeah, I know, but, I'm still coming in, keeping my nose in the whole thing. I'm like, okay, I get that. But when I retire, I'm only coming back to grab the things I left behind.
You know what it was? I saw Dave Madsen in the Cumbies on Southampton Road during the pandemic, and he was buying a scratch ticket, and I'm like, you really need to get back to work. This ain't working out for you. You need to have some.
But at least a guy like Barry,
he knows how to enjoy retirement. He's hang gliding, going all over the country.
He's walking around town like he just crawled out of a microbus at a Grateful Dead show.
Right.
He's wearing flip flops in 20-degree temperature. He's eating egg salad and Costco chickens, and he doesn't care.
He doesn't care one bit.
He's living his life, having the time of his life
because he did it. He did. He did. He created a successful career, and then one day. You'll be doing the same thing.
Well, listen, it would be great to last another 2,369 days. That's the plan. You never know for sure if that's the way it's going to be. But as of right now, that's what I've got planned out. But if it happens earlier, I'll be just fine.
Well, as I said in my little speech, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it kicks you in the nads. The backs of life. The backs of life. And if we had one gift that we were left with from anybody, employee that worked here, it was this.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it hits you in the nads. The backs of life, the backs of life. We're not always kings and queens. Sometimes we just wanna scream. And often when you face the truth, the backs of life can make you spew. On Rock 102.
In 30 years of being in this building, that is still the worst thing I've ever heard.
I can think of a lot worse things that we've heard, but this was the worst thing that was presented.
This makes my intestines knot up.
My favorite part about this whole thing is when he sent this to everybody, I was the only one that said, yeah, absolutely. We have to air that. To which the boss at the time goes, why did you say that to him?
It's 7:22 at Rock 102. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7:29 and Def Leppard with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
Dan Brown has the full forecast for you.
Hey, today Pat Kelly is going to be at MGM Springfield at TAP from 2 to 6 for Hoops and Hops. TAP Sports Bar is your home for the men's basketball tournament, which begins today. You're going to enjoy specials on Coors Light, Miller Lite Towers, and 16-ounce buckets, and TAP food specials. Pat and the road crew will also have your chance to win some pretty cool prizes. In fact, the first 64 people that stop by the Rock 102 table get a chance to pick up a random team from the tournament, and if your team wins, you'll score a Tailgate Blackstone Grill courtesy of Coors Light and Miller Lite. That's a wicked cool prize, and that's today at MGM at the TAP Sports Bar from 2 to 6 with Pat Kelly, Coors Light, Miller Lite, and Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
There you go. Oh, Barry Krieger, by the way, sent me Bob Steele, who worked at WTIC for more than 66 years. He retired on his own fruition.
I don't know if that's like a national record, but that's pretty doggone close. Bob Steele lasted a very long time.
Oh, well, longer than most.
Yeah. Well, absolutely.
Longer than you will.
I'll never make it.
You're not going to go 36 more years just to make it just to compete with Bob Steele?
No, I don't think I need to do that. Again, 30 years from now, I'll be 89 years old and probably not as relevant as I am now, and that's not saying very much.
Are you sure about that?
Totally positive.
All right.
Okay.
I'm just saying congratulations.
Thank you. News is next to Rock 102. 7:34 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. Hey, Bear the dog is back with its handler.
Thank goodness.
You know, we had these folks in here the other day talking about, one was an officer from Western New England University, and her wife that was in here was the one doing the speaking on behalf of her. That Western New England wasn't going to give the dog that she had been taking care of for the last couple of years to her as she was, planning her exit from the campus police. The good news is Western New England University listened. They actually put it to a vote with the student senate, and long story short, the dog is now back with its handler, and all is well.
I'm going to give a lot of credit to both sides here. First of all, I give credit for the university to listening to the issue and then deciding not to just ignore it like a lot of other universities and colleges would do. I also give them credit, Brianna and Allie credit, because they weren't going after the place with torches and pitchforks. I mean, they weren't staging protests and looking to storm the administrative buildings. I mean, they did it in the right way. They explained the problem in a video. They came on the show. They talked about it, and it got done. I mean, you know what? Sometimes doing it calmly and rationally is a good way of doing it. And to be honest, had the dog been forced to be with another trainer, it would not have been good for the dog. And I think anyone who trains dogs will tell you that dogs are creatures of comfort and creatures of habit. And you put them out of their element, and the dog just isn't going to thrive that way. So I think good decisions all around. I applaud everybody.
Good job.
Everybody
did a great job. But I mean, how many times have you ever heard of a school admin or whatever just dragging something out and because of their pride or whatever they do? They didn't do that here. It might have been an irrational decision that was made initially, but the idea that they actually let it go to a vote with the students in it and actually listen to the students,
yes,
that says something. So at least finally something that didn't involve yelling and screaming on both sides,
right?
You know what I mean?
You almost never hear that.
A multi-agency operation on Wednesday resulted in the seizure of 4 illegal firearms, a large quantity of narcotics, and the arrest of 8 individuals, including a repeat firearm offender with 2 open gun cases. But he's turning his life around.
Well, that's good. It's probably about time.
According to the Springfield police spokesperson, Ryan Walsh, the Springfield FIU.
Hey. Enough with the language.
Along with the multiple state agencies, carried out the operation, which targeted illegal firearm possession and drug distribution at an apartment on Pasadena Street. Investigators had been tracking 21-year-old Jaheim Sutherland of Springfield, who was allegedly wearing an electronic ankle monitor at the time, but had removed it. Well, it does cause chafing after a while.
Well, and it doesn't match half the shoes you own.
Yeah. Yeah, this doesn't go good.
Yeah. And, that Velcro strap with some of the other fabrics you're wearing, I mean, it clashes. It's so embarrassing.
It's like I always, whenever I think of the ankle monitor, I think of Frank Drebin going, well, that's a nice ankle monitor. Oh, did that fall down there again?
I know. That's great stuff.
Sutherland, who has 43 adult arraignments, 25 of which are firearm related, also has 2 active warrants.
Now, when you have been arraigned 45 times, 45? 43 times. Do you get a preferred parking space?
I believe you get a punch card for every time you go into the courthouse. You get to get. It's like going to the airport and paying that extra money for the TSA pre-check. You just go right to the front of the line. You don't have to wait months and months because you're going to be let out the next day anyway. So you might as well just. Oh, it's the speed window.
I would think as a frequent flyer, there must be some perks that you qualify for. I want you to reach 30 arraignments. You must get something. I don't know if it's like a T-shirt or a coffee mug but 40, 45. Now we're talking about something very impressive. That's all more impressive to me than being on the air at a radio station for 30 damn years.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This guy's got you, he put you to shame.
My hat off to you, Mr. Bang Bang, shoot 'em up.
The guy goes, yeah, I've come in here every day. I've written a view from the couch each and every day. Two of them.
And he doesn't really understand time either, because he's facing so much of it.
While conducting surveillance, officers observed 36-year-old Nathan Dolan enter and leave the residence leave the residence in was allegedly a drug transaction.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. Dolan was stopped on Kensington Avenue, where officers found more than 4 grams of crack cocaine, leading to his arrest. Shortly after, officers saw Sutherland leave the residence and enter a car. When the vehicle stopped on Central Street, officers moved in to arrest him, but Sutherland attempted to take off on foot. During the chase, he was seen discarding a loaded semi-automatic firearm, which officers later recovered. A masked state trooper sustained a head injury during the chase, requiring stitches. Despite his efforts to escape, Sutherland was caught and arrested. Following the Sutherland's arrest, officers executed a search warrant at the Pasadena Street apartment where they found 4 illegal firearms, including a ghost gun and a large-capacity firearm, 3 firearm magazines, Gun and Ammo, Hunter's Weekly.
And Cat Fancy.
Oh, I love Cat Fancy.
Highlights.
That's the best one. More than 200 bags of heroin and additional ammunition.
Now, there will be some people, Steve, and I'm pretty sure that you can agree with this. There will be some people who say, how can a guy who has been arraigned 43 times with all of these incidents of gun possession and drug possession, why would a guy like that be out on the streets over and over and over again?
I don't know. I'm not sure why.
Is it possible that there's something wrong with the system that allows someone like this continual access to their freedom?
Oh, what? Now you're questioning the system?
No, I would never question the system. But I would question why this guy continues to go out. Because I'm going to make a prediction. He's coming back.
Is he?
Yeah, he's coming back, and he's probably going to go back to his old habits.
I think,
and maybe, just a prediction.
I don't know. He'll
do it again.
I think he's finally learned his lesson. Don't you?
I can't be sure of that.
I mean, 43 times.
Fool me once. That's on you. Fool me twice.
They call his mom like Ferris Bueller's mother. 43 times? I don't remember him being arraigned 43 times.
I only remember the first 38.
Yeah. Oh, he's popular with the zip heads and the pinheads and the geeks, the freaks. Whatever. I can't remember I wish I could remember the line.
For Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
They think he's a real dude.
Yeah. A real righteous dude.
A real righteous dude.
Yeah.
That's it.
Remember Jeremy Meeks, the hot felon with the mugshot that went viral? Remember that guy?
I remember that guy.
It happened back in 2014. Then he got out of prison and turned it into a modeling career. Now, here we go again. Another hot mugshot is all over social media after a sorority girl in Georgia got arrested this month. Her name is Lily Stewart. She's 20. She's currently enrolled at the University of Georgia. Well, a cop pulled her over on March 8th for driving 79 and a 55 and initially let her off with a warning. But then they caught her speeding again minutes later. She was going 84 in a 55 the second time, so instead of a ticket, they locked her up. Her mugshot went viral because it's about as good as a photo that many dirty slugs are hoping for.
Mugshots do not often look this good. She's a very, very pretty young lady.
She looks like an Instagram model.
She does.
You know?
And she probably is on Instagram. I'm sure she is on Instagram.
And then all of these creepy dudes online started chiming in, so the prosecutor ended up dropping the case over worries about her safety. Which just goes to prove that good-looking people don't ever get punished.
Yeah.
That's kind of a BS kind of thing.
If Quasimodo's sister were driving that car and she had her mugshot and she's looking like like she's been involved in some sort of miserable animal attack, she'd be facing the music. This lady comes in, she's all dolled up, smiling, and speeding, and driving away, and getting busted again, and she gets off because she's good looking.
Her lawyer told TMZ he's been trying to get the mugshot taken down, but she doesn't even seem that concerned about it. And last we checked, it was still up on her TikTok page. She posted a clip of her favorite funny and unhinged comments people have left. They include, "Must have been a sale at the Lululemon. She was trying to get the last pumpkin latte of the season. Trying to get a brunch for bottomless mimosas. And, Your Honor, my client, totally didn't see that speed limit sign." Those are actually pretty funny. Just
See,
because,
is there a number in the report? Asking for a friend.
yeah, just because they dropped the charges doesn't mean she got off scot-free. TMZ says she has to do community service and take a defensive driving class. We'll see if she capitalizes on, like, the hot felon guy. He has a memoir coming out this year, by the way.
Sure, it's a hell of a story to tell.
It's called Model Citizen. Ooh, look
yeah.
at you with the puns.
I bet the ghostwriter came up with that one pretty easy.
There you go. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be cloudy with a high of 55 tomorrow. Snow, maybe in the morning, mixed in with some rain and a high of 50. We just had a 70-degree day yesterday.
I know.
It's 43 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
Table 102 Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7:52. And Quiet Riot with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Cloudy today with a high of 55. It's 43 right now in downtown Springfield. Man, we just got all kinds of people dropping by, saying hello.
I mean, the mayor called, all that stuff.
Yeah.
How about that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. In the studio, our good friend Mike Ostrowski from our credit union. Thank you very much, by the way. Bring coffee and snacks.
Bax, my pleasure. Happy 30 years. Great job.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah, I brought some pastry, and I was telling Steve earlier, we got your pension plan here, too.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So we get the Bar Stucks coffee, and we're going to, on air, we're going to, pour it on you.
Let's put it this way. I would feel more comfortable at a pension that you guys are offering than the actual pension I have. So there you have it. But thank you very much.
Mr. Drysdale, that's all I can do. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm actually glad I'm drinking from the Aura Credit Union tumbler.
Oh, those are good.
This morning, I almost brought in my Freedom Credit Union tumbler. Man,
please, come on, no way.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but no, I'm glad you're here and you get to see this in action.
You said it was good, so I believe you.
It's my favorite mug. I bring it in here every day.
Yeah. And you bought stuff from the Ludlow Central Bakery?
Central Bakery, as always, your favorite stuff. And then we entered the cannolis today. They were good.
I could eat those cups all day, man. Oh, they're so good.
The Napoleons were good, too. You know what? Now I'm going to have the other half because I got the taste of it.
I told you.
See,
Yeah.
that's
broke it in
like
half.
taking like a micro slice of cake, and have like 15 of them throughout the day. You might just grab a big piece of cake and enjoy it.
Or I'm on a diet. I'm only wanting half.
Yeah, just a sliver.
Just a sliver.
Well, because we have plans. There's going to be a luau and a taco bar here for brunch coming up after 10 o'clock this morning.
It's going to be like the Hookie Lau with a Mexican theme.
Yeah, listen, they have a red plastic tablecloth set up in the conference room. Not everybody gets that for a party. Like that's some top-notch decoration going on up there.
And you know what? They put it into place yesterday. So they
actually 2 days ago.
2 days ago?
Yeah.
All right, 2 days ago. So they've been planning ahead for this one
because they knew they would forget about it yesterday. So they put it up on Tuesday.
Smart.
Yeah.
That's what the Hall of Fame gets you.
Yeah, no kidding.
Nothing says we appreciate you than a plastic tablecloth from the Dollar Tree.
You know what? I'll take it since it took a full 30 years to get that kind of appreciation.
Right.
So anyway, but Mike, thank you very much. Always great to see you.
My pleasure. Thanks, you guys, for all you do.
Absolutely. Hey, it is a Thunderbird Thursday. We do have to give some stuff away. Tomorrow night it is a sold-out game against the Milwaukee Admirals. And we have a 4-pack of tickets to the game, 4 hats, 4 koozies, and a whole lot of fun for you. 10th caller, 293-1021, wins all of that stuff. Good luck on Rock 102.
Now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint, Cabot Stains, plus rock-solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Well, folks, here it is, day 1 of the first round of March Madness, the men's NCAA college basketball tournament. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're saying, Baxy, I know you filled out your brackets. Who did you pick for the Final Four in the women's tournament? Well, that's a very good question. And while I cannot imagine a situation where my apathy and misogynistic predispositions would preclude me from submitting those brackets and sharing them with you today, I believe there are just some things that a gentleman should never talk about. And among those things are my picks for the women's Final Four. On the men's side, however, here's who I have in the opening round. I've got Alabama State, Louisville, San Diego, Texas A&M, North Carolina, Lipscomb, New Mexico, Bryant, Norfolk State, Oklahoma, Colorado State, Grand Canyon, Drake, Wilmington, Kansas, Omaha, Mount St. Mary's, Mississippi State, Liberty, Akron, VCU, Montana, St. Mary's, Robert Morris, Edwardsville, Georgia McNeese, High Point, Xavier, Troy, Utah State, and Wolford all getting bounced out of the opening round. Instead, I have Tennessee, UCLA, Kentucky, Illinois, Purdue, Clemson, Gonzaga, Houston, Alabama, Vanderbilt, Wisconsin, BYU, Arizona, Oregon, Baylor, Duke, St. John's, Arkansas, Texas Tech, Missouri, Maryland, Memphis, UConn, Florida, MSU, Marquette, Iowa State, Ole Miss, Yale, Michigan, Creighton, and Auburn all advancing into the second round. Now, I ask you, do I sound like the kind of guy who's got the time, the patience, and the available headspace to take on a second set of NCAA brackets? Do I seem like the kind of fella who has enough time in the day to make my picks using my keen insights and natural ability to have filled out another set of brackets for the women just to make them happy? Let me answer that question for you. The answer is no, I do not. Is that me being sexist? No, it's me being frugal with my time so I can go home and do the things that the actual women in my life make happy. And I can assure you that filling out another set of brackets in a timely fashion is not one of those things. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. You doing some painting? You might need a can of Kill Sealer and Stain Blocker. It's on sale right now at Rocky's. Learn the pro tricks and elevate your painting project. Talk to experienced painting professionals right now at every Rocky's Ace Hardware location. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock. It's 8:09, and Van Halen with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It is going to be cloudy today with some rain showers and not too great. High of 55. It's 43 right now in downtown Springfield.
Hey, by the way, just want to give everybody a heads up. Tomorrow is Open Line Friday, and you remember last week? Was it last week? No, the week before. We kind of did like a little experiment, to see what was different between like the 7 o'clock open line audience and the 8 o'clock open line audience. And what we found was that the 7 o'clock folk were less brain dead and damaged than the 8 o'clock folk.
So we're going to try it again tomorrow at 7 o'clock?
I think we should give it a shot.
Yeah.
7 o'clock maybe. Anyway,
we should do like a 7:45 one. It just every once in a while.
Just throw one in?
Throw one in there.
Yeah, we could do that.
Or a 6, I don't know about 6:45.
The 6 o'clock people are just, they're just crawling out of bed.
They just want to get to work. They just want to put us on as white noise in the background.
And I don't blame them for that. But anyway, keep in mind, it's all brought to you by Linton Septic. No foul language, no hate speech. Try not to act like a dink. I'm going after the dinkage violators this week.
You should.
Yeah.
As you should.
I'm up to here with the dinkage.
Dinkage? You're done with dinkage?
You know what I'm finding? I think people think that being a dink applies to everybody else. It couldn't possibly be me. Well, if you're thinking that way, you might be a dink.
Yeah, that's true. You might be a dink. You got to look at yourself.
First rule of
in the
dinkage, you deny the fact you might be a dink.
Couple of things. Yesterday, I'm driving home on 91, and all three of those electronic highway signs were malfunctioning. Either they were malfunctioning or somebody was still hungover from St. Patrick's Day at the DOT putting those messages in. And it was just a bunch of A's and some symbols and then some B's and some symbols.
It's all gibberish.
All gibberish. And I put a little clip of that up on the TikTok. And it's just like, who's running? How much money do we put into these projects and these signs? And, you go down to like New York City, New Jersey even, in that area.
Yeah.
Those signs are like updated all in real time. And they tell you, look, if there's an accident ahead, hey, there's an accident 2 miles ahead. It's going to take you 40 minutes now to get from this point to that accident. They're pretty accurate. Why is it that we have such a hard time even in this part of the state, that don't have updated information that would be helpful? And when they do have something on the sign, sometimes there's accidents and the thing says, drive sober or get pulled over, which is fine that you have a PSA up there like that.
But that's not the reason they're up there.
That's not the time to be doing that.
I don't understand it because, that wasn't like an inexpensive proposition to put those signs up. It was like millions and millions of dollars to get those things up and working. And the thing is, they have at no point since those things went up, and I don't even remember what year it was, but at no point have they ever used them in the way that other states use them. It's exactly what you're talking about. You're right. New Jersey, New York, I mean, anywhere. If you head west anywhere on I-90, the Mass Pike, and you just keep going west, you'll find states all across America are using these things accurately. Massachusetts has done nothing but waste your money on this stuff because they have never used it for the purposes that they were intended. Remember the one? I mean, not just the use your blinker, but also the one that was telling you to try to clean the barnacles off your boat.
Oh yeah, well the zebra mussel.
Yeah, right.
Watch out for that's when they first came out here. Those signs were up for years, Worcester East.
Yeah.
And then they finally got them out here, I don't know, like 10 years ago, I would think. I think it was like 2014 or 2015. And the first message up on there was, make sure if you're bringing your boat in from another state, you clear off the zebra mussel, which again,
good
not
PSA,
a bad,
but that's not the place for it.
No, especially when there's a 5-car accident up ahead and you're in a standstill traffic and you keep seeing the same PSA over again.
Nor are we a particularly a coastal area of the Bay State. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. I don't know what goes through the minds of these things. Remember that dumb thing they had years ago, Cowboy Up, for the Red Sox?
Yeah, I get it.
Cowboy Up. Cowboy
Up. Listen, I can appreciate the whole Cowboy Up concept. It won us the World Series for crying out loud, but for
Cowboy Up,
we didn't need that on those multi-million-dollar signs.
No, but but like, who's running these signs? Is it one? It's obviously not anybody around here, because if it was, then that sign would be updated. Why don't the state police have access to this thing so you can update it going, hey, by the way, there's an accident in Holyoke. How many times has the highway been closed?
Well, if you left this to the state police to manage, I mean, some of these guys would probably find a way to, I don't know, abuse their privileges with overtime.
And I don't know.
And you would never want that from the state police.
When you get on the Mass Pike going westbound from West Springfield, that I-91, whatever number it is now, I can't remember the number. It used to be exit 4.
Yep.
And you go towards Westfield. There's a sign up there that says how many minutes it takes you to get to Lee.
Yeah.
How many minutes? Who's updating that? Is anybody updating that in real time?
I don't think so. But I mean, in your more...
Yeah.
Your highly trafficked areas, like around, like if you're traveling the Pike and it tells you 20 minutes to get to 495. Well, that's a practical thing to know. That's good information. I would like to know how long it's going to take me to get to 495 or to 95 or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
if it says 45 minutes, then you know something is amiss up there.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say this because I don't find this to be terribly accurate either. I get better traffic information from my GPS than I get from the signs that spent millions of dollars to install.
Do you use Waze?
I do.
Do you use the different voices on there?
No, I don't fiddle with the voices. I don't care so much for what voice I use.
You don't?
No. It could be any voice.
I have the Zodiac sign thing going on.
The Zodiac?
Right now, yeah. Sometimes I use... There's different celebrity voices on there. You can get Nate Bargatze.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah. You can also get different, like a dog. There was a dog who the dog goes, 2.2 miles, turn left. I think that's kind of cute.
For like a half a second.
Yeah, I know.
After that, it's no longer cute. And while you're driving, like I'm not going to make this whole ride if I have to listen to this.
You can do your own voice on that. But can you imagine listening to your own voice?
No.
While you're in?
I can't listen to it anyway.
It's like George listening to the book on tape that sounded just like him.
About risk management.
Yeah, you don't want to hear your own voice. But either way, yes, your app is better than the Mass DOT. Or Mass
Which
Highway,
I don't understand, because I mean we all have access to the same technology. So why would that ability to say, "Hey, listen, there's an accident on a particular part of a highway, and traffic is being delayed by 23 minutes or whatever it may be." Why can't that be applied to the signs that you spend tens of millions of dollars on?
Hey, maybe it's like we were talking about North Korea the other day where everything is a facade. Like they just put those signs up just to put them up. To make it look like we actually do things around here when we don't.
No, I get that, but that cost taxpayer money, and what a damn waste that turned out to be.
Some listener says they can't stand hearing Bax's voice either. I agree with that.
Well, isn't that something nice to say on my anniversary date?
Well, you listen. We don't want to elevate you too high around here. We need to knock you down a few pegs.
Don't you worry.
Yeah.
That's already happened, and it will continue to happen.
I'm surprised that ego on your shoulder, you fit through the door down here.
Will you stop it?
What? What?
I'm not walking around with that big of an ego.
Why do you have to turn sideways to get the ego that's sitting upon your shoulders through the doorway?
Because I'm big boned. It's a glandular problem.
I don't think it has anything to do with your weight or your frame. It's what you're carrying on the back.
Is it my caboose?
Yes.
Really?
No, on your shoulders. All right, whatever.
You go ahead and feel that way. You know that's not true.
Enough about that. The lottery, the Powerball is up to like $400 and something million again. You know, we're getting to these big jackpots.
Both of them, right?
Yeah, one's like 3 something, the other one's 4 something. I don't know which one's which, but they're up there pretty high. I've been buying the tickets. I've been buying the quick picks. Haven't even gotten one number.
Haven't had much luck with any of that. We've been buying a lot more scratchies lately.
Well, scratchies.
Yeah, we're on a scratchy kick.
Throw your money down the toilet.
Well, I don't know.
You're better off investing in the Dow Jones.
I don't know who this Dow Jones fella is, but I don't see him giving me any money either.
Well, a woman in Texas hit the lottery last month for $83.5 million, but they still haven't paid her, and there's a chance that they will not.
What
She
happened?
Bought the ticket through a courier app called Jack Pocket that's owned by a gambling site, the gambling site DraftKings. You know that one.
Sure.
You pay through the app, and they send someone to go buy the ticket for you. Lawmakers in Texas have been moving to ban the app and apps like it, partly because Texas state law says you have to pay cash for lotto tickets. Around 9% of tickets sold in the state are brought through one. The state Senate recently passed a bill that would have banned them, but the House didn't pass it, so it never became law. But now, after the woman's win, the Lottery Commission announced they are banning them, so Jack Pocket stopped operating in Texas. Texas Governor Greg Abbott launched an investigation into the win, and that's why she hasn't been paid. The lottery says they won't pay up until the investigation is over, and she's not the only one they're investigating. They're also looking into a big lotto win from 2023, where a New Jersey company bought so many tickets they basically guaranteed a win. They spent $25 million and won $95 million jackpot. So obviously, this is the problem when it comes to people who have so much money that they're now manipulating things that are sold to regular folks like you and I, that, hey, you have a chance of winning. Well, do you really have a chance of winning if somebody is buying $25 million worth of tickets and pretty much buying up all the chances?
Did no one ever consider that this was a possibility, that maybe an app might have some access of fraudulently taking your money?
Perhaps. So they beat the system, and officials don't like that. The woman's lawyer says her case is completely different from that, which I would say it is. If she's just a regular lady who put up $10 to go buy me some $5 Powerballs at the store.
I love the Powerballs.
But she's not getting paid, at least for now. See, this is why you can't trust anything that either a government entity runs or even a private firm.
The only thing that you can trust in the lottery is never to go through a third party, but to go and buy
your own ticket.
Yeah, that's the only way to, and then make sure you don't lose the ticket.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd necessarily buy something through an app like that.
I don't think I would either. But on the other hand, there are some apps that run legitimately. But I mean, can you imagine how pissed you'd be if you won, only to find out that you're not going to get paid because of the app that you chose to use? I'd be furious.
I still, I'm on the fence about that. You should be allowed to let people know who you are when you win those jackpots, because now, with this comeuppance of trust fund You see these people, when you look on the lottery website, most of them who win the big jackpots are like a representative from a trust fund company that has put your money into a trust.
Right.
But that's where I would see the manipulation happening. If you have a lot of money to begin with, and you did what this other company did, and buy a bunch of, you're buying basically all the chances to win, the different combinations to win a big jackpot, and you put in $25 million, you get $95 million as a prize.
Right.
That's manipulation. But how do you know they're not manipulating when you're going through a third party? However, on the flip side of that, I wouldn't want anybody to be ousted who doesn't want to be known. Like if it was a person like you or me, I wouldn't want to tell anybody I won that kind of money.
No, God, no.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I really don't understand it. Maybe like, 30, 20, 30 years ago when you didn't have social media at the level that it's at now. Okay, I wouldn't have been entirely comfortable with it, but okay, if that's the way I have to claim my money, then fine, I would do it. But now, with social media being the festering cesspool that it is, I don't even want to think about the kind of fraud and harassment you would get as a result of now being publicly outed as the winner of a major jackpot. To me, it's like, unless you're doing a private LLC under a different name,
it doesn't really,
it does. No thanks. That $100 million is a lot of money, and that sounds great and everything, but boy, I certainly wouldn't want to give up my privacy to get it.
I don't know. Well, there you go. That's our time filler conversation we've had for the 8 o'clock hour today.
It's 8:24 on Rock. It's 8:27 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown will have the full forecast for you.
Hey, for those of you who are really looking forward to Bacon and Brews, if you got your tickets, good on you. But if you don't, it's too bad because it's now sold out. I want to thank our sponsors, Dave Monier Exterior Home Improvements, Aquapump, Nor'easter Organic Life Hydroponics, the Tommy Carr Auto Group, GG Inks, the Log Cabin, and thanks to everybody that will be participating in this year's Bacon and Brews. Stick around for more exciting events coming up in 2025 from Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
Dollar General is set to close nearly 100 stores.
Is this one of them Doge cuts? I know they're a paramilitary organization over there.
Well, yeah, they are trying to save money within the federal government.
Everyone talks about military spending and how expensive that is, but when the Dollar General's got to be suffering as a result of it.
Dollar General is planning to close nearly 100 stores across the nation, and they make it like this big headline. It's less than 1% of their stores. Less than 1%. They own like 20-something thousand stores across the U.S. You ever see one of those? Like, where was it? Down in Maryland, like Maryland into Delaware area.
Yeah.
Whenever we drive down there, there's one section where it's very rural, and I think it's Route 1.
Yeah, there's only one section.
What?
in Maryland and Delaware.
What do you mean one section? What are you talking about?
You said there's one section. I say, yeah, there's only one.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about like there's this portion where you drive down Route 1 where you're really in the sticks, like you're out in the middle of nowhere. And I was driving at like nighttime, and in the distance I see this tiny little light, and I go, what is that? And I was get closer and closer, and you realize it's a Dollar General. Like there's nothing else around but this $1 General that's there on the corner of this intersection.
Well, you know what? That's probably one of the ones that does very well.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else out there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, that's what happened when they moved one to Russell. They put one in Russell a couple of years ago, and that's like they call it the Russell Walmart because, because I mean there was no other place around.
Yeah.
Let's say as a parent, when you were a parent and your kids were little, did you ever have that thing where you're like, I got to go out and get arts and crafts at 9 o'clock at night?
Yep.
But at least you had something around here in this area that was probably open, a grocery store or a Target or whatever, where you didn't have to drive that far. If you live in the hill towns, you got to drive at least to Westfield to find something open at that time of night.
Unless you have a Dollar General or a Dollar Tree or everything $1 or whatever.
Dollar General is open from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. every single day.
See?
7 days a week.
And they want to close 1% of them.
Well, maybe they figured this might be a little too many.
I don't know. It's Hard to sustain a business when you're only selling things for $1.
And again, it's not like you're getting high quality items. It's just like one of those places to get general items.
That's it.
You know?
Oh, that's why.
And
It's general. Here I am thinking this is military.
yeah, they also cost more than $1.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
It's 8:31. News is next to Rock 102.
Here's your
8:34 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. A Wilbraham man has been indicted by a federal jury for allegedly making numerous violent threats on social media targeting a variety of people.
Is that wrong? Are you not supposed to do that?
He's been indicted.
I believe the word is indicted.
No, he's going to federal prison. He's going
He's gotta be indicted.
Yeah. 36-year-old Funweo Niweo.
Funweo Nieo?
Funweo Niawo.
Whoa.
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 That's no fun wayo to say that, huh?
No kidding. So what was he doing?
Who also goes by several other names like Barry McAukener, Oliver Clothesoff, things like that. He's facing threatening and stalking charges following his arrest in South Florida last month. According to court documents, the suspect posted various threats on social media that he would kill several elected and former state and local officials along with their families, private individuals, members of local law enforcement, and children in both Boston, Wilbraham, and Springfield. Was that wrong? Had I had known, I got to plead ignorance here.
I mean, I've worked in other places that welcomed that kind of activity.
Yeah, he faces up to 5 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and $250,000 in fines.
What about some anger management classes? Has he been exposed to any of that yet?
That could be.
I would strongly urge that to be added to the plan.
More than 63,000 pages of records related to the 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy were released Tuesday following an order by Donald Trump, many without the redactions that had confounded historians for years and helped fuel conspiracy theories. The U.S. National Archives and Record Administration posted to its website roughly 2,200 files containing the documents, the vast majority of the National Archives collection of over 6 million pages of records, photographs, motion pictures, sound recordings, and artifacts related to the assassination have previously been released.
I'm going to need the whole weekend to read through that stuff.
Larry Sabato, we've talked to him before. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
He's the director of University of Virginia Center for Politics.
Yeah.
And he's also the author of the Kennedy Half Century. He said it will take time to fully review the records. We have a lot of work to do for a long time to come, and people just have to accept that. Trump announced the release Monday while visiting the JFK Center for the Performing Arts in Washington, saying his administration will be releasing about 80,000 pages. We have a tremendous amount of paper. You got a lot of reading.
You know, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and but here's my guess.
Yeah.
You're not going to learn a whole hell of a lot from all this. And you know why? Because any document that may have confirmed a conspiracy in this particular case has already been destroyed.
Or, probably already been destroyed.
Yeah.
Or there's still pages that haven't been released. And this is what I don't get. You know, and I don't care who you support for political reasons or whatever, but these dingbats down in Washington, you know, they come in there like, yeah, we're gonna be the ones to tell you what happened is, and all it winds up happening is a big giant nothing burger. Nothing. You didn't get anything for it. Why not just come out and say, here's what we know. This is what happened. End of story. And we have some documents to back that up.
That's what the Warren Commission was.
But they still haven't done. I'm talking about people who say, well, I want to uncover what the Warren Commission did, wasn't telling anybody.
Right.
Why not just come out and say it? What is the big deal? We
because
all
the
know
problem,
the government has been corrupt for years, so what's the big deal?
The big deal about it is that those who believe that there were other entities involved in the Kennedy assassination are never going to be satisfied until they hear full disclosure. The problem with that is exactly what I just said.
Yeah.
You're never going to get full disclosure because since 1963, anyone who's ever had access to these files has probably destroyed the biggest smoking guns in the entire case. So whether it was
then
Oswald or the Cubans, the mob, or an inside government job, all those things have been covered up.
For all this, Trump being, this guy who's coming out in transparency, all this other stuff. Say it. Come out and say it. Come out and say what you know.
Because even that wouldn't be enough for some people.
I think it would. I would think it would be a big 180 from what we've been hearing over the last.
It would be, but unless you had absolute confirmation that it wasn't Oswald or whatever,
he's the president. He would be the one that people would have confidence in to tell the truth about this whole thing. So why wouldn't you just come out and say it?
Well, because people don't have confidence in their elected officials, and they don't trust any of them, whether it's Trump or somebody else. It doesn't really matter.
But that's what I mean. Why don't they just come out and say it?
Because no one's going to believe it. They're going to say, "Well, it's still a government cover-up."
It's just to me.
There's no winning in a case like this.
I know, but to me, when you do something like this, you didn't do anything. There was nothing that has been done about this. Nothing.
Listen, they have been asking for these files and this information for 63 years. You're telling there's actually somebody out there that believes that the release of all these documents are going to show that it was an inside job, or that the mob was involved, or the Cubans, or the Russians? Ain't none of that stuff going to come out. And if it does, okay, then I'll be happy to be wrong. But my guess is it's not going to implicate anybody.
Yeah. So I don't even know why we even go through this whole stupid, we're going to do it. And then they give you nothing. There's nothing. And for somebody to say there's a lot of reading to do, we have AI. Just run them through an AI machine. The AI machine will tell you who did it. It's like skipping to the end of Clue.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
it's like just open up the envelope without even bothering.
Just open the envelope and let's get going with this.
I knew it was the candlestick in the conservatory.
People with so much confidence in the government, like they're going to give you, like they're going to do something productive and give you something. Never going to happen.
You should never ever trust the government,
especially with this alien thing. They're never going to tell you what they know.
No.
All of this has been speculation. We were talking about this before. It was probably November or December. And the Trump administration, we'll release all these files. They're not releasing anything. They're not going to tell you what they know about all this stuff. It's all just to get you to try to be engaged in something.
Would it be hilarious if you found out that like 98% of these documents are like the lunch receipts from the Warren Commission as they would try to put that phony thing together? Like, you went to get a $40 steak at Peter Luger's. Well, okay, put that in the Kennedy file.
I was thinking Peter Luger's Steakhouse only because of that RFK thing. Well, we put a bear in the back of my car. We brought it out to we couldn't take it home, so we just dumped it in the park. People who get so, so passionate about, their political views and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then you really just take a step back. I mean, look at that kind of behavior from people. Like, can you take anybody seriously?
There are a lot of very passionate people that believe that what their values are the right values. But the reality is that both sides are basically the very same people.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. How can you have confidence in any of these knuckleheads that come out on the scene and they get involved in this thing or that thing?
You can't. And that's one of the reasons why this is one of those very odd moments where we're actually talking about politics, because it's so maddening and so.
But I'm
ridiculous.
not even getting into.
No, you're not talking about. I'm not talking about taking like a partisan discussion, but just politics in general are such a divisive, aggravating topic of conversation that you can't take anybody fully seriously. And if you do, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Well, we got a little something special
Oh,
coming for
Jesus.
you up here. Your Pioneer Valley Wait, you know what I hear about the?
I'd rather hear about
the
Peter
bear.
Luger's Steakhouse.
Bax, I had a nice giant ribeye, and then I took the bear in the back of my car and I dumped it in Central Park because I couldn't. The smell was gonna be too much. And wow, your Pioneer Valley forecast today. Cloudy with a high of 55. It's 44 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:50, and the Foo Fighters with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Cloudy today with a high of 44. Tomorrow, rain, maybe even some snow showers in the morning, depending on where you are throughout the Pioneer Valley, and a high of 50. It's 44 right now in downtown Springfield. It's not often we get royalty in the studio with us.
Well, the mayor called. That's about as close as
Oh,
we got.
no, this is even bigger than that. When you usually get a visit from this guy, you know it's got to be a special occasion.
Usually it's you got a cardboard box and you have to give up your keys.
It's either a pink slip or a congratulations.
In 19 years, I don't think I've ever actually been on the air with you guys.
No. Our boss, Alex Byrne, is in the studio. Good to see you.
Hey, congratulations, man. 30
Thank you.
years is nothing to sneeze at.
No. Now, you and I used to listen to this guy when we were in high school.
Seriously, I think when they started the Bax and O'Brien show back in 1995,
right.
Steve was a sophomore in high school, probably.
Sophomore, junior, maybe. Yeah,
and I was a freshman in high school, just so you know.
And now look at you.
Yeah, I mean, look at me hanging out with the bigwigs here on the Bax and Nagle show.
Now, here's the funny part about it. The two of you were both hired 20 years ago within like days or weeks of each other.
A couple of days with
I
each
think
other,
it was around Labor Day weekend in 2005?
when
something
Katrina
like that?
hit New Orleans.
So
we got hired.
So are we throwing the two of you a 20th anniversary party in September?
We'll throw Steve a party.
No, you know what? I think him and I are going to go out and forget the rest of you rooms.
There you go.
Probably,
yeah.
You know what else dawned
smarter
on me?
idea.
Is we missed your 25th anniversary because that was literally right when COVID just sidelined all of us.
Yeah, we really dodged that bullet.
Well, I want to say 30 years a hell of a run in radio, not to mention 30 years at the same radio station. 27-year run with Bax and O'Brien, and some changes were made. We all lived through the Bax, Steve, and Dave experience. And now we're here with the Bax and Nagle show.
We survived through the Bax.
Yeah,
Steve
we
and Dave
we endured it, kind of like someone would endure, say, like a long illness or a marathon.
It was a 6-month illness, wasn't
I wasn't living through anything. Yeah.
Well, we wanted to honor you in some way, and some places would probably get you a gold watch or some kind of fancy tchotchke, but, budgets are tight. So we talked about naming the studio after you, and after some discussion, we decided we'd name something else in your honor. So it's a place where you do some of your best work. From now on, until they tear this building down, the room at the top of the stairs will be known as the Mike Bax Baxendale Honorary Powder Room.
That's
Yeah,
for
there you go.
I
You
got
got
a box of stuff here.
There's a box
bathroom
there
named after you.
with a plaque. We were going to go with water closet, but I figured
this
powder
is-
room seemed a little bit classier, like you.
This is nice.
You like
Thank
that?
you. Thank you very
You're
much.
very
Now,
welcome.
wait a minute. Does this transfer to the new building when we get a new one?
We'll have to discuss that. I don't know.
All right.
Listen, I'll take this. This is perfect. This, you know what? This is exactly what I think 30 years has earned.
We're going to have a
Naming
little brunch
bathroom.
upstairs, too, after the show. So.
Well, I appreciate that, Alex. I really do.
Well, so here's the 30 years of a Hall of Fame-worthy radio career. Let's hope you stick around for many years to come, or as long as Steve wants to carry you.
That's right. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I appreciate the backup, you sons of bitches. That's all right. It's good, all
In
right.
all seriousness, man, thank you so much, and congratulations on 30 years. We're really lucky to have you, and I hope you stick around for a bunch more.
I appreciate it, both of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't.
Don't worry, young grasshopper. Someday this will all be yours.
More room in the budget, I guess, right? Yeah.
Who are we going to pair you up with when Bax retires? That's a question.
We can always bring back Coombs. I'm sure he'll be.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah,
That'll be great.
He's already got the toilet named after him in that bathroom that he just got.
There wouldn't be any tension in that room at all.
No, none whatsoever. We'd have pregnant chick Fridays here. Bringing some pregnant chicks.
I got a buddy.
I got it. Yeah, that's what the bit was. I got a buddy.
Well, great having you down here. Thank you very much. I'm flattered. I'm honored. And here's to another 2,369 days.
Cheers to you, buddy. Thanks.
Perfect. It's 8:55 with Bax and Nagle at Rock 102.